We're talking about unlawful carrying of a weapon charges in Houston, Texas today. My name's Brian Foley. I'm the managing partner at Houston Criminal Defense Attorneys, PLLC. And this is a really common crime that happens in Harris County, or at least it's one that gets charged a lot in Harris County. Um, Texas is one of the states that protects handgun rights the most in the United States. There is open carry in Texas, but there is still this law called UCW, or unlawful carrying of a weapon. And today we're going to be going over two of the subsections of the ways to violate this law. There are ways to violate it if you have a prior conviction for family violence, and it's been in the past 5 years. But there's also different laws about possessing a firearm while you're a felon, which is a felony offense, a separate third degree felony offense. Even if your original felony was a state jail, if you're in possession of a firearm at that point, then it's a separate violation. But this one happens to just regular folks every day. Let's look at the two subsections. Subsection 1 says, if you intentionally or knowingly have this firearm, it's got to be a handgun. We're not talking about rifles. If the handgun is in plain view, okay, and it's in a motor vehicle, it's in a motor vehicle and in plain view. And I omitted that part that talks about motor vehicle, but that's there before this. So if it's in the motor vehicle and it's in plain view, unless you are 21 years of age or older and you are licensed to carry a handgun, okay, there's an LTC, or a license to carry, that you can get. And the handgun is carried in a holster. So if you're licensed to carry, it's in plain view in your cup holder and it's just sitting in the cup holder, and you're in your car, then you're in violation of this subsection 1 of the UCW law. Then there's subsection 2. If you're in your car or you're in possession of this handgun and you are engaged in criminal activity other than a Class C misdemeanor that is a violation of law or ordinance regulating traffic or boating. Okay, so let's say you're in a boat or you're in a car, you've got a handgun with you and you're speeding. Okay, that is not going to be unlawful carrying of a weapon. That's just going to be a speeding case, and you're still lawfully carrying your weapon as long as it's not in plain view. Remember, it's got to be concealed. So you can have a gun in your glove box. In Texas, there's what they call a traveling exception. There are other exceptions for different convictions, so you have to be aware of that. But in general, you can have that gun in the car. It just can't be in plain view. You can't be somebody looking at it from the street and see the gun like laying on the passenger seat, laying in the cup holder, something like that. If it's concealed, you're okay. So what is engaging in criminal activity other than a Class C misdemeanor? A Class C misdemeanor means like a ticket, a speeding ticket, failure to maintain a single lane, failure to stop at a stop point, something like that. Criminal activity can mean something as low as possession of marijuana. So in Houston, Texas specifically, the most likely times we see unlawful carrying of a weapon charges are when the person, one, is in possession of marijuana and in possession of a firearm, like a handgun. What'll happen then is Harris County does not typically accept misdemeanor marijuana charges. So they may even reject the marijuana charge, but accept the unlawful carrying of a weapon charge. I have seen some cases more recently where they're accepting both, which is a little odd because there's been a policy for a long time in Houston that, because of the THC content requirements of proving that it's over 0.03% THC, so that it's not what we call industrial hemp, but it is the plant cannabis sativa L and a high enough THC content to be considered the definitionally marijuana illegal plant, right? If those things were met, you could prove that. Well, Houston said, there's too many of these cases. We're not testing this stuff in every case. We're just not going to file these cases, but we will take a gun off the street. That's the attitude of the district attorney's office, is they are actively looking to take guns off the street, regardless of how they would maybe not even charge you if all you had was marijuana. They'll still take your gun. The other way that this happens a lot is if you're charged with driving while intoxicated, DWI, meaning you're operating a motor vehicle in a public place while intoxicated. That means your blood alcohol is either above 0.08 or you've lost the normal use of your mental or physical faculties due to some introduction of a drug or other substance. So if you're doing that and you have a gun in the glove box, even if you were the old conceal license or you have a license to carry, you know you weren't using the gun, you weren't waving it around, you didn't point at anybody, it wasn't on the seat, it was in a holster, you're still going to get a UCW charge. So, that's the bad news is they're fairly aggressive with these charges, especially in Houston, Texas, because there's a priority for that office to target gun crimes so that they can have, times where they go in front of the media and say, look, this is how many times we targeted gun crimes. Well, regular people, very good, very normal, good people are getting caught in the crosshairs of that. And the DA's office uses these statistics to try to show, like, well, we're trying to fight like gang violence. It's like, okay, well, when you arrest a 40-year-old who's coming home from Chili's after having a few drinks, and then he's also got his concealed license carry on him, well, is that really the same thing? I don't think so. So we do have a good success rate in these cases. We can't guarantee any particular results for a particular case. We'd have to talk with you about that. But in a UCW, most of the time, especially if there's some other charge, if you can work out a deal in the other charge, the UCW would get dismissed. You would have to forfeit the weapon. So we can recover weapons if they're sentimental, they have sentimental value, but typically it's cheaper to just let the weapon go and get out of the system. And so sometimes people say, well, Brian, isn't that, are you just quitting and you're not fighting for your client? Well, no, we definitely are fighting for our client every day. The thing that we say the most though is once you're in the criminal justice system, anybody who's ever been in it before can tell you how difficult it is and how much of a problem it can be. So our job number one is to get you out of that system once you're in it. And if you've got a UCW charge, I hope this video was helpful to you. Don't forget to like and subscribe. If you like what you saw, leave a comment, and we'll do a video on anything that you comment down below. If you got a suggestion, we'd love to hear it. Thanks. We'll see you next time.